Hey guys, welcome to Potato Reads Reddit. I'm Potato, and today we have an OP who is debating whether her sister's boyfriend is being honest and truthful or just being an ass. Alright guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification button too if you feel like it. It really does help out the channel. And when you're done listening to the stories, don't forget to leave us a comment as well. We'd love to hear from you, hear what you thought of the stories, and hear what you think of the channel in general. Alright guys, let's dive right into it. Our first story today was posted by Ash. Am I the asshole for my response to my sister's boyfriend's brutal honesty? My 35 female sister, 27 female, started dating one of those brutally honest guys a few months ago. He can be quite rude and make backhanded comments about me and the family, sometimes which is bothersome, but my sister says he's not malicious, but it's the brutal honesty type and we should get used to it. I visited my parents' house to celebrate my sister's birthday, and my husband couldn't come with me because he was busy. After the party, we all sat down for dinner, and my sister's boyfriend said it was weird that my husband and I don't have kids, despite being married for 6 years now. I was shocked that he brought this up, but I gave a short answer stating that it's because of infertility issues. He asked on which side, and I didn't want to answer, but my sister said it's on my side. I got uncomfortable as he looked at me for a second and said that maybe not having kids now is a good thing because he thought women over 30 might produce defective babies due to age. I told him it was none of his business, but he said he was just giving his honest opinion and that's all. I, in return, told him while maintaining eye contact, trust me, if I wanted an asshole's opinion, I would have farted. Literally everyone at the table burst into laughter, and my sister and her boyfriend were stunned. A few seconds later, her boyfriend excused himself out, and my sister followed, then sent me a text after they left saying I was mean and disrespectful towards her boyfriend and insulted him maliciously, just because he stated his honest opinion. She also said I ruined her birthday by being petty and making her boyfriend the joke of the night in front of the family. I didn't respond, but she demanded an apology via mail as soon as possible. Mom agreed that I shouldn't have said what I said and should have just ignored him knowing how he is. I think I'm the asshole, but I'm not sure. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I guess I handled this poorly and ruined my sister's birthday. OP, first off, your sister's boyfriend ruined your sister's birthday. Second off, your infertility or fertility is none of anybody else's business, let alone, and it's also none of anybody else's business whether you have kids or not, or whether you want kids or not. So, not the asshole. That joke, that line, if I wanted an asshole's opinion, I would have farted. That is a beautiful comeback. I love it. I love it, OP. You are awesome in that sense. Okay. So I don't really have much else to say on this story aside from that's hilarious and OP is not the asshole. I'd love to hear what you all have to say down in the comments below. Let me know whether you thought OP was the asshole or not, and we will move on to the comments from the post. Rowan Ever says, repeat after me. He should have just ignored me. He knows what I'm like. I'm older than him. I can't change now. I am who I am. I was just being honest. Seriously, that's my opinion of this conversation. What's that? Those excuses are toxic BS, Mom? Cool. Good to know you won't be putting up with anyone's crap from now on. Not the asshole. Princess Troubleshoot replies to that saying, you know how she is the biggest cop-out response for those people who everyone knows is a rude bully. If everyone called those kinds of people on their BS instead of tolerating it, either they would realize they're inappropriate a-holes or they would at least be on notice that people disagree with them. Yeah, it's easier to say nothing, but why suffer a-holes? Edit. Thanks for the awards. Slow Bumblebee 8609 says, not the asshole. Brutally honest is a synonym for asshole. Brutally is not a nice adjective. It means savage and violent way. If he identifies himself by that, that says a lot about him. Also, I'm surprised he is offended at being called an asshole, considering that what he said is the equivalent of verbal diarrhea. Snad Pups responds to that saying, I once heard someone say that people who say they are brutally honest are often more concerned with the brutal part than the honest part. Impossible Balance 11 says, not the asshole, but sister is also the asshole for volunteering OP's private medical information when boyfriend so rudely asked the intrusive whose side question. OP responds to that saying, hi, I fully agree, because she has already seen how uncomfortable I was, but she decided to not only let her boyfriend continue, but also provide medical details that I never wanted to share with him of all people. No Recognition 3929 says, not the asshole, but that is the perfect response and I will be squirreling that one away for myself, lol. Just being honest is very often a very, very toxic way that assholes try to make their victims seem like the overly sensitive one when they get upset. Being honest would have been him giving you a straight answer if you asked his opinion, not shoving his unwanted, unsolicited advice at you. Alright, that's it for the comments on that story. Tell us what you thought of it down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story, which was posted by It Rains It Pours 1. Am I the asshole for not agreeing with my daughter on taking her future husband's last name? My daughter, 23, got engaged to her now fiancé, Aaron, 29. Aaron comes from a different place than my family, and in our family all women keep their maiden name even after they got married. Last week, my daughter and Aaron visited to talk about the wedding and then brought up the last name arrangements. I was taken by surprise when my daughter said she planned on taking Aaron's last name once they get married. I truly was not expecting this because, like I said, all women in the family kept their maiden name, which is part of their identity and legacy, and I couldn't help but think my daughter was throwing away all that by deciding to take Aaron's last name. I asked her if it was her decision or Aaron pressured her, and Aaron started side-eyeing me. My daughter said it was a decision she made by herself and she was not pressured by anyone. I told her that I don't agree with her on this decision and that I thought that it was hasty and a bit offensive of her to do that, frankly. The conversation got uncomfortable and Aaron had to go outside for a smoke. My daughter started arguing with me about what I just said, but I said that was truly how I felt about this whole thing, considering that she's the only member of the family to give up her family's name. She lashed out saying I get zero opinions on what she decides to do, and I should stop guilt-tripping her, but I don't think I was because I was just telling her how I felt about it. She didn't like it and decided to leave early and call my husband and ranted to him about the conversation we had, and he sided with her saying our daughter is an adult and this kind of decision is up to her, but I still said that I disagree with her decision no matter what her motive is, honestly. It's been a week and she hasn't called yet, probably expecting me to reach out and apologize. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be for not approaching the issue in a more tactful manner instead of just disagreeing. OP, I am just gonna straight up say you're the asshole in this situation. The whole reason why, it's not great or not a good thing for a woman to be forced into changing her name for marriage is because of the coercion and because of the assumption that a woman is property and does not have the autonomy to make that decision herself. By you saying that she needs to keep her maiden name against her wishes is the exact same thing. And for that reason, I'm gonna go with you're the asshole. So OP, you're the asshole in this situation as far as I'm concerned. So I'd like you all to tell me what you guys think down in the comments below, and we're going to move on to the comments from the post. Our first comment is from Arcane Temevil. I hope your husband didn't pressure you over your last name. That's my job. You're the asshole. Mrs. Chester responds to that saying, next up, OP threatens to pull financial support for the wedding because it goes against her values. You're the asshole. Abracadabra 2020 responds to that saying, if that's the value OP wants to fight for, I dread to think about the rest of her values. Harry Mary Rose says, you're the asshole. Firstly, not a combo you have in front of her fiancé asking whether he pressured her into it. I'm not surprised he started side-eyeing you. Also, consider why she doesn't attach value to her surname and see it as her identity and legacy. Her surname has nothing to do with you, and the fact that you mentioned Aaron pressuring her but don't seem to notice that you're trying to do the same thing speaks volumes. A user responds to that saying, "This, your husband and daughter are completely in the right. It is her decision, and just because other women in the family have decided to keep their maiden name doesn't mean she has to." Tepid Courage responds to that saying, "I wonder what surname daughter even has. Sure, women keep them on marriage, but which do they pass down? I bet daughter has OP's surname." SK111W says, "You're the asshole. Traditions are peer pressure from the dead. Your daughter has every right to decide whether or not this one has any meaning to her, and it's not your place to question her on this." SRGoff SMB says, "Traditions are peer pressure from the dead. Oh, that is so good. I'm gonna use that." Alright guys, that's all for that story and comments. Why don't you tell us what you thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story, which was posted by Glop Glop. "Am I the asshole? I ate an entire cake by myself in a single day. Yesterday was my 27th birthday. Happy birthday, OP. I haven't had a birthday cake for many years because my wife felt it would go to waste considering it's just the two of us at home. So she would just buy 2 slices of cake, one for her and one for me. This time, however, I wanted a cake for my birthday. I have been feeling down lately and thought that maybe a birthday cake would uplift my mood. So I asked my wife if she'd bake me one of her famous plum cakes. She usually makes it for girls' night and family potlucks, etc. She agreed on the condition that I'd have to finish the entire cake and not waste any of it because she would only be able to eat 1 slice. I happily agreed to her condition and she got on to baking the cake. Yesterday morning we cut the cake and she had a slice for breakfast. She then said that I'd have to finish the cake by the end of the day because she didn't want any cake leftovers. I managed to finish the rest of the cake during the course of the day pretty easily. When my wife came to know that I had finished the cake, she started scolding me and calling me greedy and a pig. She said she didn't think I'd be such a glutton and finish the entire cake all by myself. She also said she'd never make a cake for me again. Am I the asshole? Edit. To all the people wishing me my birthday, thank you. Your wishes make my day happier. I'm sorry I couldn't reply to each one of you because there was just so many wishes." OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. "I believe I might be the asshole because I didn't practice self-control." OP, I don't know what kind of weird power trippy control nonsense this whole thing had to do with for your wife, but, I mean, hey, husband, you better eat this whole cake, or else I'm never gonna make you a cake again. Eats entire cake. Oh my god, you ate the whole cake? I am never making you a cake again. OP, I think your wife just didn't want to make you a cake. I think that's what it comes down to. I'm sorry, OP, your wife just doesn't want to make you a cake. Which, you know, sucks to be you, I guess? I don't know. This whole thing is weird. I don't think I can give everybody sucks here, I guess. You coerced your wife or emotionally blackmailed your wife into making you a cake, and then your wife gaslit you about the cake. So, yeah, everybody sucks here, I guess. Why don't you guys tell me what you guys think down in the comments below, because I'm very interested to hear what others have to say about this, and we will move on to the comments from the post. Vivid Efficiency 7347 says, "Not the asshole. Your wife clearly wanted to prove you were a glutton for wanting a whole cake and not being able to finish it, therefore wasting food. You proved her wrong, so now she is angry. Also, cake can last more than 1 day." OP responds to that saying, "The thing is, she feels that cake becomes dry and loses its moisture if it's not eaten on the same day." Enlightened Gardener responds to that saying, "Your wife is wrong. Has she never heard of Tupperware? Some cakes actually get better on the second day. I'd imagine a plum cake is one of those." I know, right? It actually absorbs more of the flavor and becomes more delicious. Slow Bumblebee 8609 says, "Not the asshole. You don't have a way to win. 1. Finish it, and you are a glutton, greedy, and a pig. She won't make more cake. 2. Don't finish it, and you are wasteful, broke your promise to finish it, and lied to her. She won't make more cake." If she felt that strongly about leftovers, she could have made half of the normal recipe amount. Instead, she decided to go full Greek god on you and bake the cake of dissent. Bake. That's actually a really good metaphor. Also, basically the way I feel about this. Slow Bumblebee's got it dead on for me. Adorable Internal 42 says, she told you to finish it, you finished it, then she got angry that you finished it. Am I missing something, or is she just rude, not the asshole? PCS Pain responds to that saying, controlling and abusive too, OP's not the asshole. Stevie420 says, not the asshole. What kind of person would only allow someone to have a birthday cake under the condition they ate it all? That alone is pretty messed up. And then to insult you for doing it? Pawnee Goddess 20 says, truly joyless. This reads like a messed up fairy tale or something. Alright guys, that's it for that story and comments. Why don't you let us know what you thought down in the comments below. Really interested in it. And we'll move on to the next story, which was posted by Bobby Bukarabi. Am I the asshole for not sharing my grandmother's inheritance with my father? When I was 13 years old, my mother found out my father was having an affair and he got another woman pregnant. After this came out, my father confessed he was in love with the other woman and wanted to leave my mother. She was obviously heartbroken and didn't know what to do. We had moved to a new state with my father for work, so she had no family around. My father dropped us like a bad habit soon after this came out. He attempted to keep a relationship with me, but ultimately his new family was his priority, as he said. Tough to understand for a 13-year-old, but whatever. If he didn't want me, I wasn't going to need him, so my mother and I moved on. But the only way we were able to move on was with help from my grandmother, my father's mother. She always loved us and was appalled with what her son had done to us. He stopped seeing her as well for the most part. We became very close over the years, seeing each other for special occasions and holidays while her son was nowhere to be found. She even helped my mom out monetarily when we needed it too. Unfortunately, the years caught up with her and she developed colon cancer, advanced late stage. Her decline was rapid. Within a few months, she was in hospice. Days before she passed, she asked me to call her son to come see her as she knew her time was coming. He'd only been to see her a couple times since she had gotten sick. When he came by, I was visiting as we did every few days, and he acted like I was some random person. My grandma asked him to come back tomorrow, but he said he'd be back in a few days. She passed 4 days later without him coming back, despite my calls and texts to come. She went peacefully with me and my mom by her side. That was hard. I miss her every day. She was my guardian angel most of my life, and I know she continues to watch over me. After the service, where my father did show up and made a big scene and made it all about himself, we were contacted by her lawyer. Unbeknownst to everyone, she left me her house and a good amount of money, $200,000. No idea she did that, but in the will, there was a note to me from her that said, "You are worth it, love Grandma. She's amazing." Also in her will, she left my father exactly $1 as his inheritance. When he found out, he went ballistic, blowing up my phone all the time, demanding I give him his house and money. His wife and his son were messaging me a lot, and his son was writing on social media that I manipulated my grandmother. My father apologized and said he was under a lot of stress because he's in debt and was banking on this money to come in for his bills and to send his son to college. That made me feel bad, like maybe I should have given him something. I've thought about it a lot, and I don't think I'm going to share anything with him, and I kind of think that makes me an asshole because it seems like they really do need it. But on the other hand, screw him. I don't know. Am I the asshole? Morning edit. Well, this really blew up. I did not expect that at all. Thank you all so much for responding and for the personal DMs and for the awards. It was all really generous and it really has put everything in perspective. I'll try to get back as much as I can when I am free. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole for not sharing my grandmother's inheritance with my father, even though he says he's in very bad debt and needs money to send his son to college. Oh, OP, I cannot count the number of ways you are not the asshole in this situation. You are absolutely not the asshole. That money is yours, that house is yours. You were there with your grandmother when she passed away, look. So, I actually had, with one of my grandparents, had a similar situation. I did all the work. He had edited the will so that all the money was supposed to come to me, and the house was supposed to come to me, all that. I was the executor. And it got so bad that I actually gave up the position and I let one of my aunts take it over, and her and my mother, they just divvied it all up, and I literally got nothing. I didn't even take anything out of the will for the executorship. I just gave it all to them. And to this day, I absolutely regret that. So you did the right thing. What you did was the right thing. You are not the asshole. Your father is a catastrophic asshole. And you just need to move on from these toxic people, block him out of your life, and forget about him. Okay, OP? So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? And we're going to move on to the comments from the post. Bacon, Egg, and Cheese SPK says, not the asshole. The reason she left him $1 was to make it clear to the court in case he tried to challenge the will, that she hadn't forgotten to include him, but that she intended to disinherit him. She knew that her son would try to take the money she left to you. It is very common practice to leave $1 when disinheriting somebody. Respect your grandmother's wishes and don't give your father a dime. Edit to add, yes people, I'm very aware that this isn't necessary to disinherit somebody, and that it comes with the added annoyance of having the disinherited person be named a beneficiary. Just because it isn't necessary doesn't mean that people don't do it, and it's still very effective in making the deceased intentions clear. Young Coasty replies to that saying, yes, as soon as I read that Grandma left him $1, it was clear she knew exactly what she was doing. OP, she wanted him to have exactly what she left him. Continue having no contact. You know he's not worth the headache. Dropped Elbow responds to that saying, clearly Grandma was pretty sharp, and if she thinks OP is worth it, that's all that matters, not the asshole. But still, he is your dad. The boy is your half-brother. Blood does matter, and life is too short to remain angry. They have money problems, so it would be a nice olive branch if you help them out. Maybe take an example from Grandma and send $1. That way you've doubled their inheritance. A 100% increase is not to be sniffed at. I wasn't sure where that comment was going, but I'm very happy where it ended. FuzzyAd336 says, the other hand is right, not the asshole. Your grandma intentionally left him $1 so he couldn't contest the will with, she wasn't in her right mind, she forgot about me. She wanted you to inherit. Honor your grandmother's wishes, and FTG. Throwaway co-parent responds to that saying, Grandma was a badass to make sure her offspring couldn't take OP's inheritance. Not the asshole. Don't let them manipulate you into giving them money, no matter what they say or post. Golden Alexander says, not the asshole. Do not give him a dime. Your grandma knew what she was doing. Trust in her wisdom. Edit to add this. Please tell the lawyer that is handling the estate, there probably is one, what your father and his family have said to you. Your grandma's lawyer is there to ensure that what she wanted goes, and they need to know any pressure you are under. Alright guys, that's all the stories we have for today. Thank you for spending some time with us. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about the stories that we read, the comments, everything. We want to hear everything you have to say, even if it's about the channel, anything we can do better, or any stories that we've missed or should be reading. Alright guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and that notification bell too. It really does help out the channel. And thank you for spending your time with us today. Okay, you guys have a great day. Alright, bye.